Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gershwin and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we start off the series of the Rak'Gol. It's an alien race found within the Warhammer 40K universe, and it was a suggestion by one of you guys. Now, unfortunately, this is not a playable race in the actual Warhammer 40K game, but it is something that you can interact with and play in the Dark Heresy game. So please check out Dark Heresy if you haven't already. It's a great place, even if you just want to pick up the books for the lore. It's a great place for you to expand your knowledge on the Warhammer 40K universe. And again, this was a request by one of you guys, so if you guys have any other requests, comment down below. We read those requests every single day. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about the Rak'Gol. In the year 710 of the 41st millennium, a vessel from the disciples of Thal stumbled across the wreck of an imperial merchant brig, Solace of Dawn. It was drifting without power. Only the ship's salvation beacon still operated on its isolated power storage, and the rest of the void ship was cold and dead. Inside, it was immediately apparent that the ship had been boarded and her crew slaughtered by something unknown. Vox fragments and Auspex logs recovered from the remains of the bridge spoke of a new unknown Xeno species, something perhaps from beyond the Hellenic depths. Uncharacteristically of their close order, the disciples sent a message containing all the information gleaned from the wreck to Alter Templum Calixis X-17. In return, the Adeptus Mechanicus gifted the information to an infrequent Imperial Navy patrol traveling through the mall. Word spread, and a new threat had emerged in the Corynus Expanse. It would be decades and countless atrocities before anyone knew more about the Xenos race. Eventually, the Xenos had a name, the Rak'Gol, although their motives remained as secret as when the Solace of Dawn was first discovered. As they push deeper into the Expanse, more than a few brash rogue traders have vowed to find their homeworlds and visit on them the same destruction that the Rak'Gol bring. However, given how deadly the Rak'Gol have proven thus far, such boasting seems idle at best. Since that time, dozens of additional confirmed losses have been attributed to the Rak'Gol attacks. The Rak'Gol may have victimized countless more, but limited communications and the lack of any remains means that the number would be speculative at best. Over the decades, Rak'Gol sightings continue to occur throughout the trailing and rimward portion of the Expanse. In recent years, other human voidcrafts have also confirmed encounters with these marauding terrors in the Cauldron and Heathen stars, indicating they're spreading across the Expanse. Unfortunately, very few have survived an encounter with these Xenos to tell the story of their conflict. Even fewer have retained sufficient sanity to make their stories believable. The Rak'Gol are vicious Xenos marauders, and a relatively new threat within the Corynus Expanse of the Halo stars adjacent to the Calyx sector. Encountered first in the deep stars past the Hellenic depths, a little more than a standard century ago. Across the Expanse, there is one intelligent Xenos race that is known to all but seldom spoke of, the Rak'Gol. When their name is mentioned, the speaker may well make the sign of the Aquila for protection. For to speak the name of these vicious marauders is said to invite them to attack. The Rak'Gol are one of the single most feared, reviled, barbaric, and inhuman Xeno species encountered in the Corynus Expanse. Their excess are only surpassed by their brutality. Though they can be found throughout the Corynus Expanse, these near-primal, cannibalistic hunters are especially common near the ill-traveled Hellenic depths, where their packs of void ships lurk and wait for prey. The typical Rak'Gol possesses 8 limbs. Normally, when not in pursuit of prey, they tend to walk upright on 4 limbs, using the other 4 to perform various other functions. However, when in pursuit of prey, they can easily shift into using up to all 8 limbs for locomotion. The Rak'Gol's upper 4 limbs possess adaptable grasping appendages. They can change the musculature to be used as hands, complete with opposable digits, instead of grasping feet. These appendages are strong enough that an adult Rak'Gol can actually climb and run completely upside down, attached to virtually any surface. The Rak'Gol also possess prehensile tails that assist in balance. In addition, the Rak'Gol have a keen sense of smell and sight, and these are often enhanced through the use of cybernetics and bionics. When standing upright, the Rak'Gol towers over humans, standing at least 2.6 meters tall, or over 8 feet, and weighing at 175 kilograms. To humans, these Xeno species appear reptilian. However, their skin does not possess the telltale signs of reptilian species. Rather, their skin is a rough-hued texture, almost stone-like, very similar to ancient Terran lizards. Non-modified Rak'Gols possess 2 eyes deeply recessed in their skull. The dual taints of the warp and radiation are commonly found amongst the Rak'Gol. The radiation may be a consequence of their fission pulse nuclear thermal drives found in their vessels. However, it may be that the species seeks this out as a means of inducing additional mutations among their ranks. The information broker, Nathan Thasanthos, has observed that he is unsure which option is more terrifying, that the Rak'Gol deliberately seek out corrupting mutation, or that the species is so consumed by bloodlust and rage that they no longer have the interest or ability to conduct basic maintenance on their vessels. While some mutations are clearly due to the deprivation of the warp, others seem more consistent with those developed following extended exposure to isotonic radiation. The combination of these 2 influences clearly affect the species' gene pool, which has resulted in substantial variations between specimens found in different regions of the expanse. At the same time, Imperial reports have not identified any tribal or cultural iconography that associates any of these genetic variants. This suggests, but does not confirm, that the Rak'Gol may lack the necessary cultural sophistication to develop tribal culture. Members of the Magos biologists have marveled at the remains recovered from the Rak'Gol conflicts. Studies indicate that the species is egg-laying, and the Rak'Gol undergo extensive physiological changes over the course of their lives. Furthermore, their reproduction methods appear to involve a trinary breeding scheme that is dependent upon the age and stature of the individual involved. Some reports suggest that the biochemical and psychological changes may occur in the Rak'Gol based upon their social standing within their communities. As the Xenos attain specific levels of authority, this may trigger shifts in their reproductive mode. However, these factors cannot be confirmed until live specimens are studied over extended periods of time. Astropaths have not been able to consistently predict future attacks, as the simple brutality occurs at unpredictable intervals across a huge range of locations. This Xenos infest the unbeholden reaches more so than other, but attacks have occurred inconsistently in many other locations. Among Voidsmen, many legends have circulated that the warp itself often places the Xenos vessels in ideal locations to launch an attack at the most inconvenient times possible. These legends are more common within the region of space where the Rak'Gol are more active. In sharp contrast, based upon their exploration patterns throughout the Corynus expanse, there may be more of a pattern to at least some of the Rak'Gol attacks than first appeared. A number of these assaults occurred on worlds with xenoarchaeologists have identified the remains of civilizations long lost before the first rogue traders passed through the mall. This suggests that the seemingly mindless Rak'Gol have the motivation and abilities necessary to carry out a search for something lost. Thus far, however, no researcher has been able to discover what would be valuable enough to send them out across the expanse. This presents a challenge to Imperial forces attempting to constrain the Rak'Gol. Without a known target, it is far more difficult to provide consistent protection against the alien incursions. Ultimately, there are far too many worlds containing the remains of shattered cultures within the Corynus expanse to hope to protect them all. The most prominent rogue trader houses in the expanse, Winterscale, Corrida, and Sol, have promised great reward to the person who discovers the source of the foul aliens, so that they might descend upon their world and cleanse it with the wrath of their considerable fleets. However, thus far, no one has managed to accomplish this. Stories conflict over whether the interior of the Ellenic depths is the location of the Rak'Gol's profane homeworld, or simply the route they have to take from a more distant region. The few brave or insane souls who venture into the depths to search for an answer never return, although pieces of them or their ships occasionally show up amidst the trophies recovered from Rak'Gol vessels. Most consider the idea of seeking the Rak'Gol homeworld with anything less than a full battle group of warships or Imperial crusade to be at the height of lunacy. Matters have grown considerably more complicated since reports started filtering into the Port Wander of the Xenos marauders, claiming worlds beyond the boundaries of the depths for unknown reasons. It is unknown when such encounters first began occurring, as the rumors were not substantial until the recent Battle of Holsfall in the year 801 of the 41st millennium. The battle's victor, Lord Captain Petronius Holt, was forced to destroy the Xenos structure with an orbital bombardment in order to claim the world for his dynasty, and the rubble left few clues for their original purpose, regardless of whether the Rak'Gol simply seek to expand their holdings, as would be expected of a less deranged species, or if they have some other unfathomable goal. Certain common factors have been found among the Rak'Gol habitations discovered to date. In some cases, the bulk of the Xenos actually dwell in orbit and reduce vast swaths of the planet to irradiated deserts for no reason. In some cases, the Rak'Gol constructed their wardens and fortresses in the midst of the poisonous expanse they had created, while on other worlds, they avoid setting foot on any of these areas, even when driven back by assaulting troops. All Rak'Gol worlds are marked by special territories known as rad zones, even those that normally lack territories of any kind. These territories are considered to possess desolate and virulent traits, although the ill effects of the latter are due to the high levels of radiation present, as opposed to the toxins. The number of rad zones present on a Rak'Gol planet depends on its development level. Rak'Gol planets frequently house a fleet present as well, with even minor encampments being defended by at least a single warship. Their more significant holdings often have a major battle group patrolling the reaches of the star system. Newly established Rak'Gol holdings have been found across most of the Corynus expanse. They are most commonly encountered in areas between the God Emperor Scourge and the Phenilian Echoes, a region of space already plagued with significant activity by their kind. Interestingly, these encampments often seem temporary, as if set up as part of a grander effort. The matter is further clouded by claims of Rak'Gol holdings, far from any known activity by their fleets. As far as can be told, establishment of a Rak'Gol colony is always preceded by a devastating barrage of nuclear fire. It is to create one of their infamous rad zones. The colony's main warren is often, but not always, established in or near a rad zone, where its purpose remains unclear to outside observation. And those were 40 facts about the Rak'Gol. Part 2 is going to cover more information on this alien species. If you guys want to learn more and you don't want to wait for Part 2, jump on over to the wiki page. More information on these creatures or this race is on there. If not, again, pick up the Dark Heresy books. An amazing place to look for when you're trying to learn more about the galaxy of Warhammer 40K or the world of Warhammer 40K. If you guys have any suggestions for topic ideas, please comment down below. We read the comments pretty much every single day, so put your requests down in the comment section below. And again, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. If you want to help us continue bring you more Warhammer 40K content, help us out on Patreon. A simple $1 a month really helps us out in creating more Warhammer 40K videos. If you can't, that's fine. Simply liking, commenting, and sharing this on Twitter, Facebook, wherever it may be, really helps out the channel. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.